best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown.
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown.
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown.
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown.
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown.
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown.
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown.
Blitz coming off the edge. Dart under pressure. Down he goes.
I'm ready to go play. Let's play our best football.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown.
Blitz coming off the edge.
What's going on, guys? It's oh wait, they can't. Yeah, they can hear me. What's going on, guys? It's Logan, it's EJ. Welcome back to SwampCast, man. We're here after a pretty rough Saturday for the Gators. Two rough weeks in a row now. EJ, how we feeling, man? How you doing on this Sunday? We're live again. I know you guys love that, so we're back at that for y'all. After the crazy past couple weeks we've been dealing with, but we're back here, man. EJ, how we feeling? Oh, also, the shirt, the hat. Come on, we know what's up. You know what's up,
man. You know, I guess I would feel something if genuinely we just weren't as good as our opponent. But after the last 2 weeks, there's a little frustration because from a talent standpoint, we have the players, we have the horses, we have the talent. We're just dumb, you know? And so there's a little bit of hope in that if we can figure something out. But man, I don't have too much hope, Logan. You're gonna have to give me some today.
I'll give you some right now. I'm gonna introduce you guys to the new quarterback of the Florida Gators. Just wait. I'm tired of this shit, EJ. Because look, I've been a Gator fan my whole life. I didn't get to see the 2008 to 2006 Florida Gators. You know what I mean? I missed out on that. So I'm going in myself. I'm tired of this. It's gonna be the new quarterback of the Florida Gators, man. And we're putting a glove on too. This is what I just don't understand it. You know, it's like I get excited for this team every single year, and they keep disappointing. I'm really tapped. This, by the way, Caleb Brantley, one of his actual gloves that he used, I believe in the FAU game in 2016. Anyway, man, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. What's crazy, and we'll get into the stats of this game, of course. But what's so brutal is the defense gave our offense so many opportunities. They played a phenomenal game. The defensive line, a position group that I was a little bit nervous about coming into this season, is really playing well, especially against an LSU line that is proven to be pretty solid. And every time they try to run the ball with Durham, a guy that is known for his ability to break tackles, we were able to wrap up. There was a couple
Yep.
times where he did get loose, and a couple times where we did have to kind of, get a good four guys on him to bring him down. But the tackling really took a jump forward, I will say, EJ, from last week. There was still a lot of issues on some of those big plays when it came to tackling, but as a unit, as a whole, they played a lot better. And I gotta give them props there. Obviously, the big story of this game, we can start with the offense, might as well, considering that's kind of where all the bad came out. Let's just dive into that, EJ, real quick. Let me get up the stats here, because for some reason I did not have that pulled up. But the story of the game, DJ Lagway, 5 interceptions, just could not get anything going. He was 33 of 49, 287, 1 touchdown and 5 picks. DJ Lagway, a guy who coming into this season everyone had as kind of the number 1 quarterback in the country, at least top 3 in the country, and just gets worse every game. And here's my question to you, EJ, and to all the Gator fans out there watching. Is this a DJ Lagway problem, or is this the coaching by Billy Napier? Because I feel like the more Billy Napier coaches, Billy Napier said this is his 4th week. This was his 4th week of practice going into this one. We're going into his 5th week of full practice in the offseason. I get that. That's insane. No quarterback's going to look good. But this is junior varsity type stuff, type mistakes that he's making. You know what I mean? You're 10 points behind LSU. It's 20-10. You're in the 4th quarter. You're in field goal range. You have Trey Smack, one of the best kickers in the country. Why are you throwing into triple coverage down the field and underthrowing it? It's DJ Lagway doesn't he's not a guy who underthrows. And so he's underthrowing the ball into triple coverage. You're seeing him not go through his progressions. He sticks on a receiver and throws it. He's predetermining where he's going with the ball, and you saw that with the slant that went for it. It's so weird, EJ, because this is, like I said, I feel like this has to be a coaching thing. Because last year, what we saw from DJ Lagway is he would read high to low. He would look at the safeties, be like, okay, where the safety's going, bet this route coming underneath is going to be here because we have man coverage or whatever it is, right? And we're not seeing that this year at all. He's not reading high to low. He's not looking at the safeties at all. He's not even reading them. He's looking directly at the predetermined matchup that he likes at the snap, which is fine. But you have to see that. What's going on, Kenny? Kenny said, good afternoon, fellas. Is Billy fired yet? Sadly, and we'll get into that in a bit, but I feel like, Kenny, that's probably not going to happen for a couple weeks. Earliest, I would say, is after the Miami game going into the bye week. That would be right, because don't we have a bye after, or no?
We have a bye after next week's game against Miami.
Yeah, okay, so we do. So that's the earliest I would think that Billy would be let go, Kenny. But my guess would be probably before the Georgia game, especially if we drop the game to Texas. So yeah, I feel like he's not reading the field right at all, EJ. What do you see this whole situation as? Is this a DJ Lagway issue, or is this the is he coaching DJ wrong? Because I feel like he's taken significant steps back. This is not the DJ Lagway that we saw last year. Is it a momentum thing? What is it, EJ?
Oh.
How are you feeling after this?
Yeah, there wasn't tequila strong enough last night to give me the answer, but I'll give it a shot. So I have this philosophy. Players don't regress. Your competition just gets better than you faster. And I think that that's the truth in anything in life. Especially if you're doing something competitive, like if you're in a spelling bee and you don't make improvements and your competition practices and they get better than you, you're going to look like you're worse. But it's actually who you're going against is just, they're better than you. I think that's the case here. I think at the end of the day, he didn't practice all spring, all summer. And these schemes, these defensive looks that he's getting are based on where he was last year. And because there has been absolutely zero development in terms of understanding and being strategic in here's what you're going to get next year, let's develop you so that you can recognize these mixed coverages. The other issue that was very, very clear in this LSU game, DJ has no chemistry with the receiving core. He has absolutely zero relationship with any of these receivers, has no clue where they are on the field, has zero clue what route they're running, has zero clue if they're running shallow, mid, high, and he is out there guessing where they are going to be. And it is an absolute indictment on Billy Napier, the so-called, he's our offensive coordinator. It's an indictment that Billy Napier thinks that DJ Lagway is prepared to play at this level right now. It's an indictment on Billy Napier. It's not DJ Lagway's fault. He's out there just as anybody. He's trying to play. He is ill prepared for the moment. He has no chemistry with any of these wide receivers. He couldn't tell you what coverage the defense is in if to save his life. And it's contributing to him losing his confidence over and over again. Steve Spurrier, I grew up in the Spurrier days. Spurrier would have put in the water boy on the sideline before he let somebody throw their third interception in a game. Particularly, and these aren't interceptions that are like it hits the receiver in the hand, it bounces up, and it's a lucky pick by the defense. No, this is, I don't know what defense is out there. I don't know what coverage they're in. I don't know where my receiver is going to be. I'm guessing. I'm running to the left side of the field, throwing it to the right side of the field in a cover 2, double team, triple coverage. And then what message does that send to the rest of your team when you're the supposed leader making all this millions of dollars? You're contributing to the team losing, and the coach doesn't even have the wherewithal to say, you know what, let me sit you for a series to just get your head straight, because it's unacceptable. Because if I'm playing defense, Logan, think about this. If I'm playing, our defense has given up 2 touchdowns in 3 games, and we're 1-2. And that is pathetic offense. You got to sit him and just say, hey, I'm just going to sit you for this series. Just no pressure on you this series. Just observe the field. Just get your head right. Let Tramel Jones go in there and run it 4 straight times. I don't care. It's better than throwing a pick straight to the defense, right? And so, Billy Napier is his own unique individual, but it's terrible leadership on Billy Napier's part. Has been absolutely zero development, and the competition is only going to get stiffer in terms of how these defenses look, how they're going to attack DJ Lagway, and with his inability to read defenses or have any kind of chemistry with his wide receivers, I see absolutely nothing that's going to change.
Another thing, too, it's one thing if your quarterback's playing good, right? If we're going back to the Kyle Trask days or whatever it is. But DJ Lagway, especially when he's a couple interceptions in, should not be throwing the ball 50 times in a game when your star running back, which in my opinion is the best player on your entire team, only gets 10 carries. Now, Jaden Ball did get a lot of looks in the receiving game, and I do give Billy Napier props there. I'm not going to sit here and just shit on Billy Napier every single game even when he shows good things. He did a really good job early on getting the ball out of DJ's hands quickly, right? Letting him kind of get comfortable in the screen game with these quick passes. But once he starts struggling, go back to the run game. It's what you're good at. Billy Napier knows the run game. And you have, in my opinion, the best running back in the country, or if not, at least top 3. Even Brian Kelly came out and said this is the most underrated running back in the SEC in the country. And that's Jaden Ball. And bro, it's unbelievable. After contact, I think, in the receiving game, it was like 50 yards or something insane. Like they literally could not bring him down. So I don't know why Jaden Ball is getting 10 carries. And I don't know, Jacoby Jackson got 7 for 13 yards. Jaden Ball 10 for 46. There's obviously a difference there in talent. Jaden Ball should be on the field as much as possible. Another big issue I have, and this is like, so here's the thing. We talked about how this is not a great offensive scheme, right? Kenny Roberts said, I keep wanting to say Kenny Rogers, but Kenny Roberts said, a championship defense is being wasted. Reminds me of the Muschamp era. Yeah, I mean, it's funny.
Yeah.
He said that DJ looks like Emory Jones. It's true. It's like he doesn't know what's going on at all. And it's weird that like Graham Mertz would be good right now. You know what I mean? Like it's weird that I want him back.
We would be 3-0 if Graham Mertz was our freaking quarterback right now.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad to say?
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I mean, I can't remember where I was going with what I was saying. But it just, oh yeah, here's the other thing too. So Billy Napier's offense is a very like low margin for error type offense, right? It's an offense where wide receivers aren't going to be wide open because of the route tree. We've talked about that on this podcast plenty of times. So you have to take advantage of the opportunities that are there. And when you have a quarterback that's struggling, when you have a play caller that's not exactly giving you the right play calls, low margin for error gets even smaller.
Yep.
So now you have a sliver of success that's there, and that sliver of opportunity that's going to be there. And in Billy Napier's offense, you have to take that opportunity, take advantage of it every single time it presents itself to even have a chance at winning. And so that's a big problem. Another thing I hate. Why are we in 12 to 13 personnel every single play? I honestly, EJ, I'm sitting here watching the TV. I'm like, why the hell is Hayden Hansen out in the fucking outside and by the sideline? What are we doing? Like, listen, Hayden, nothing against Hayden Hansen. Hayden Hansen's he's a good tight end. He's not a great receiving tight end. It's one thing if you got Kyle Pitts out there. It's one thing if you got Brock Bowers out there. You got Hayden Hansen. He's a blocking tight end. He's not a receiving tight end. So maybe take him out and put in Mizell. Maybe take him out and put in another receiver. We have Tank Hawkins or someone. Like someone who can get more. I know Billy Napier's trying to find a mismatch there, right? In personnel. I understand that. But Hayden Hansen's not that big, oh my God, playmaker, right? And so he's a good tight end that can block. He's a good tight end that can come out of the flat, you know what I mean, and have a check down. But why is he, like, EJ, am I crazy? Like, what is that? It's like, and then we have, I mean, listen, nothing against this guy. Who the hell's number 14 in the receiving corps? Why don't we have Tank Hawkins out there? He said his name. I'm like, who is that? You know what I mean? Like, he did a good job. He caught the ball, got like 7 yards. But I don't, like, it makes zero sense. And it's a week-to-week thing. I will say this, though. We had more, like, spread out formations. You know what I mean? I don't know why Billy Napier doesn't do that every single game, honestly, because we can move the ball when everything's spread out. It's easier for DJ Lagway to read the field. That's another thing. If your quarterback's struggling, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna be done with this rant, EJ. But if your quarterback's struggling, why are you gonna do bunch formations every single play? Like, honestly, that doesn't make any sense. It condenses the field. It makes it harder for your quarterback. DJ Lagway has really struggled in post-snap reads. A bunch formation is a post-snap read. You don't know what they're doing. Defenses can scheme all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? Like genuinely. So why in the world are you making it even harder on your quarterback when he's struggling? Go 5 wide. Go sideline to sideline. You know? I mean, it's working for Joey Aguilar. Joey Aguilar in Tennessee. Joey Aguilar, he struggled so much with turnovers when he was at App State and UCLA. Comes over to Tennessee. He looks good. He looks like a good quarterback. Why? Because it's easy to read that field. You can't do these simulated pressures and shit when you have guys sideline to sideline. It's so hard. And it's easy to run the ball as well. So I don't know why Billy Napier is doing a bunch formation when it's like Billy Napier comes into a game, EJ, and goes, "This is the way I'm going to play no matter what I see. This is what I'm going to call no matter what." That's genuinely the vibe that I get. I'm gonna read Kenny's comment, and then EJ, I'll let you go on because I went on for like 5 minutes there. Kenny said, wide receivers can't get separation. O-line keeps holding wide receiver screen. I'm tired of seeing it. Yeah, I agree with all those things. There's no separation because the routes are horrible. We have a few rub routes here and there against man coverage, but they're very, very rare. And yeah, the offensive line, the screens, I agree. EJ, sorry about the rant. Let's hear what you have on all that.
Yeah, I mean, just a couple of just fascinating and honestly, I hate looking at some of these stats whenever after a game like this, because stats matter when you have good coaching and good decision making. And that's what Steve Spurrier used to say. Um, we ran 76 plays in this game. They had 49 plays. LSU ran 40. We ran nearly 30 more plays than them. We had 37 minutes time of possession, 38 minutes to their 22. Um, and we scored 10 points. When LSU had the fumble, I was just yelling, strip, just try to strip the ball, defense. Like, we have to give the offense as many opportunities as possible. And George Gums had the fumble, and the ball was bouncing toward the LSU into the field. And Bryce Thornton tried to pick it up, and I'm just like, pick it up and run, because that's the only way we're gonna score in this game is if we get a freaking scoop and score or pick six. And Bryce Thornton, by the way, props to him. PFF had him as our fourth highest rated player in this game with a 74.2. Dijon Johnson was actually our highest rated player at 85. Aiden Mizell, talk about people who just is in for one great play and makes a couple of great catches, and then like they never put him back in the game again. He was 79.3. Jaden Ball was the third highest rated player at a 77. And that's including the 87-yard touchdown catch he had that they called back with a late phantom hold. And when that holding penalty, I just want to just talk about that for a second. That's the third touchdown we've had. It just never ceases to surprise how we lose, because it's like, from a talent standpoint, everybody, we are as good as anybody on our schedule. I've seen enough to know that. It's just these penalties and just coaching ineptitude in terms of game strategy that has allowed us to lose these last two games. But when you look at just the waste of talent, it's insane. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you talked about Jaden Baugh and to me, Aiden Mizell. Hanson, there was a 3rd and 9, I think, that we needed to pick up to keep the drive going. If we could at least kick a field goal. I know Billy Napier only kicks field goals this year. So he's incapable of scoring touchdowns. So it's 3rd and 9, and instead of running a play to get the receiver close to the first down markers, he runs a 3-yard underneath route to Hayden Hanson. Like you said, is a good tight end. He's a nice guy, but he's slow. And the LSU defense is the strength of their team. They're fast, athletic, and they tackle well. What brain cell are you using from the space-time continuum? Because, all of our cells and matter has been around for trillions of years, everybody. There's some sort of brain cell from 1 billion years ago that entered Billy Napier's brain that told him, 3rd and 9, throw an underneath route to our slowest player. Triple underneath coverage by LSU. He'll be tackled instantly. It is the most idiotic offensive preparation I've ever seen. One other thing, and then I'll turn it back because I do want to get on some other elements of the game. Passes. 49 passes. 49 passes. when you have Jaden Baugh in the backfield. Let's just let that. Oh, and by the way, we had more interceptions. We had basically as many interceptions as handoffs to Jaden Baugh. What the hell are we doing? You know, it's just absolute. It's just absolute an indictment. We were in LSU territory. Check this out, guys. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, 7 times in this game. We snapped the ball inside LSU's territory.
Jesus.
And we scored what? 1 touchdown? I and the penalty, okay, so the penalties that take the touchdowns off the board, I have to be honest. I think those are all 3 of them were all bullshit calls. Like, I have deliberately gone back and looked at those replays. On the hold that they called 77 on, and they called them for like multiple holds in this game. When your hands are inside the numbers, everyone holds. Your hands are inside the numbers. Your hands cannot come outside of the numbers or it's holding, or you can't like tackle the guy. On the play, I'm like, he's holding inside the numbers and the guy releases and he still is on, and they call that for holding. And I'm just sitting there like, did they throw the flag as soon as it happened? Or because we're all like celebrating, jumping off the roof, taking shots, and then we come back and they're like, oh, they called us for holding. So I was just like, of course they did. Of course they did. So, it's just crazy. They also called us for the offensive pass interference where we touched the DB who happened to be my nephew. They didn't even think it was pass interference, but they called that touchdown back. And they also called us for holding on the Jacoby Jackson touchdown run against USF. So, overall, I just think it's going to go one of 2 ways. Either these first 3 games are sort of sacrificial lambs to DJ Lagway getting the snaps and the reps needed for him to turn things around. Or it's just going to continue to get worse. Miami is a similar athletic team to LSU, except the difference right now is Miami's offense is a little bit better than LSU's right now. I think their defense is slightly worse, but
I agree.
Carson Beck is playing a little bit better than Nussmeier is right now. And so if you throw 5 interceptions against Miami, they've got an offense to at least score 2 touchdowns off of that. The LSU can do any guys. One more thing, and I'll throw it back to you, Logan, okay? Because I just got to say this. If you were to tell me going into the game, LSU, we would outgain LSU. We would hold LSU's offense to 1 touchdown scored on offense, and we would shut LSU out in the second half, their offense. I would say, man, we're going to win this game by like 3 touchdowns. LSU's offense did not even, I think the last possession, they had 2 possessions inside of our territory the entire second half. One of them was they had the fumble that we almost got. Then he threw the interception on like the very next play. And the other one was the last possession of the game where they ran it down, they did the off tackle and, they ran it down to the 5-yard line. If they didn't have that one play, they would have gained like 260 yards the whole game. And we would have outgained them by well over like 100 yards. So just a crazy, wild game. But Florida LSU is always like that.
Yep, always like that. It's funny. I went back and looked at my score prediction for the game. My score prediction was 23-13 LSU, which is very, very similar to how it played out. But I did not expect it to be 5 interceptions.
You hit that right on the head.
7 times we were inside in their territory. That's unbelievable. And we came away with 10 points. That is wild. That is wild. You talked about the underneath route by Hayden Hansen. When that happened, I was yelling. I was screaming at my TV. I was very mellow yesterday during the game. One reason being I was off of like 3 hours of sleep because I wrapped season 5 of Sweet Magnolias yesterday morning at like 6 a.m. And so then I got to the place, whatever, did the whole move out the day prior. So we were at a hotel. We get up at like 10 a.m. and then we drive back home. And because I wanted to beat the traffic in Atlanta with all the Clemson fans and Georgia Tech fans. And so when I got home, I was very tired, and so I was very mellow. But that's the one time in the game where I was screaming at my TV because what are you doing? Like, honestly, what are you doing? Unbelievable, man. Terrible. And yeah, that's a big issue I have. So here's my thing, right? They asked Billy Napier in the press conference after, and they were like, so why didn't Jaden Ball get? He only got 10 carries, and Napier's like, oh well, I think the tape will back us up with that decision. And I'm like, okay, so here's my question then. I think his reasoning for that is the fact that they're loading the box, right? But if they're loading the box, then that means that either your receivers aren't doing their job down the field, DJ Lagway isn't doing his job reading the field if they are open down the field, which they're not, or that means your play calling and your Kenny telling no lies, or his or your route trees back, whatever it is. So what is it, Billy? Like that's my question. Is it your routes that are trash? Because you have talented receivers. Is it your routes that are trash, or like why aren't you, like, what's going on? Because you're so adamant about wanting to throw the ball, and that means you should have there should be one-on-ones everywhere. If they're loading the box, the 8-man boxes, you should have like that. That's my question. Is like our receivers can't get any separation. We know that they're able to, so it has to be a scheme issue. So that's I just want to jump to that conclusion. But unbelievable. I don't really have much else to say about this offense. It was ugly. It was nasty. They moved, like I said, I think the overall feeling is DJ Lagway threw the ball too much. He looks really bad. Hopefully he can bounce back. I don't know, EJ, if he's able to. I know you said maybe he's able. I personally don't think so. I don't think there's a chance in this world that DJ is going to get back to what he was in this scheme. I think he might see a little bit of a step forward, maybe like a shimmy forward. But thing is we don't have Texas's schedule. Arch Manning is struggling pretty much like DJ Lagway right now. He looks terrible out there. But guess what? They played UTSA, and then they play like 2 cupcakes before they play the Gators. And so they have
UTEP, yeah,
UTEP. So they have time to figure things out. We got to go to Miami next week, or this upcoming week. Miami's going to be they're a top 5 team. Carson Beck's on fire. That defense is on fire. And then after that, we have we got the bye, right? And then do we play Texas?
Then we play Texas.
Okay. And then we have Mississippi State, right?
Texas A&M.
Or Texas. Oh, great. Yeah, we're going Texas A&M. Love that. Yeah.
The
right?
The Texas tour. We're like Carrie Underwood.
And and we go to Kyle Field, right? I mean, that's unbelievable. I think we do.
We go to Cal Field.
Okay, and they're coming off of
them at home last year.
And they look like a top 5 team. They just beat a really good Notre Dame team in front of Touchdown Jesus.
When Notre Dame had a bye week before them.
That exactly. And Notre Dame's 0-2. They had, listen, that was a must win for Notre Dame. And Texas A&M goes in there and gets the win. That is an impressive ass win. And we'll get into that in a bit. Mississippi State is not an easy game anymore.
Mississippi State is on fire right now.
They're on fire right now. They look good. Was it Blake Shapen right is back there? He's a great quarterback. We have Georgia. It's the Georgia Bulldogs. We have Ole Miss. Kentucky and Ole Miss, they look good. Florida State to end off the year, which looks like a top 10 team. It's not going to get easier for the Gators. That's the point I'm trying to make. And so we don't have time to figure out.
Don't forget about Kentucky, because you know how that one goes.
Exactly. And that, I think is that at Kroger Field? I think that's at Kroger Field.
Yeah, it's in Lexington.
Great. Love that. So we don't have time to figure this stuff out. So my prediction is Billy Napier's fired before the bye week against Georgia. That's my prediction. I'm putting in the money now. I'm gonna find whatever website it is that you can make those random ass bets on, like the color of the Gatorade that gets poured on the coach. I'm gonna find that website. I'm gonna put that on Billy Napier getting fired the bye week before Georgia. I'm not someone who calls for guys' jobs. That's not me. I want Billy Napier to go. This is unbelievable. EJ, I don't have much else to say about this offense. If you want to dive into the defense, if you have, or touch on anything on the offense you want to get.
Real quick on the offense. So the lowest graded players on PFF, DJ Lagway, check out his grade on PFF, 31.2. It's a career low. And just so everyone knows, PFF is they do these in-game ratings for players. And typically the higher rated players in their algorithm are typically really, really great elite players. And a grade of 70 or higher means you're in the top, I think it's like the top 40% of players. So you're well above average. So to be a 31.2 in an in-game performance is just, you could have literally put in like Aiden Warner, Make-A-Wish kid, and he would not have had a 31.2. So that's how bad that was. Bryce Lovett, the offensive lineman, also had a 28.7 grade. He was getting beat on pretty much every. LSU has a really good defense. In all honesty, they probably have the best defense left on the schedule, at least statistically, in terms of what they've given up the first couple of games. LSU's defense has given up, I believe, 3 total touchdowns all season. We've given up 2, but their defense is really good. But Bryce Lovett, lowest rated player, had multiple holding penalties. The offensive line for Florida collectively was a 35.4 grade against LSU. The pass rush against, they just couldn't hold up. So strengths that we thought going into the season were going to be strong are now not as strong. And I think we need a complete reevaluation of where we are. We have seen the team play, and our expectation of Billy Napier, since he's still the coach, is learn from your mistakes, Billy. Let's just have a run-heavy attack going forward and maybe sneak in a couple of deep bombs to keep the defense honest. But any offense right now that causes your slow, undeveloped routes to run directly into triple coverage and tells your quarterback to throw into triple coverage is not an effective strategy. And we need to completely change it up. It's almost like, I was thinking about, Logan, like the video game, like NCAA 26 that we play. Mm-hmm. I've had a couple games where I'm like throwing 4 picks, right? The 4 or 5 picks, and it's like I lose. And so I think to myself, this is like worse than the damn video game. Like, how do you throw 4? And it's like, usually it's because, you hit the wrong button, mm-hmm. You throw it, the guy's there, but for some reason he throws it in the wrong direction. He doesn't throw it directly. He throws it like in front and it gets intercepted. A defensive lineman jumps out of nowhere that you never saw. And it's like, all of those interceptions were exactly how it played out in this game in real life. So I was like, is there some sort of conspiracy going on right now? But yeah, man, we've got a lot of work to do. I think we have the horses. I think Kenny put it in the chat. We've got like the talent, we've got the speed. It's just the offensive wherewithal and coaching and to put it all together to have this team be an explosive team. Like if this was, think about this, if we had like who I wanted Scott Frost to be the offensive coordinator. That was like my dream. Like I know he went back from Nebraska, he went back to UCF to be their head coach. But let's just say Billy Napier got him to be the offensive coordinator. I have no doubt this team we would be scoring like 40 points a game.
Oh yeah, college football playoff all day.
We would be and with the defense that we have. And here's the other thing. Our defense, when they get out there, they have the opposing team's offense has the entire playbook at their disposal because usually we're losing or it's a close game. Only when your offense is scoring quickly does the other team's offense have to like drop all the running plays, and now you're kind of playing to the hands of the defense and you can get turnovers. Our defense is stopping teams without any help from the offense, which is even mean you have a better defense than what you thought. So I guess this is a good transition to talk about the defense.
It is a good transition. One more thing. Kenny Roberts said stick to 5 offensive linemen. Yeah, Caden Jones started at that right tackle spot over Lovett. And he got pulled, and they then they put Lovett back in, and they were just they were throwing guys all over the place. So I agree. They don't have the. This reminds me of like Oklahoma from last year. Remember Oklahoma last year? They subbed in like 10 different guys throughout the season, and could not figure it out. And that's what kind of led them to that 6-6 year. I believe they went 6-6. That they had last year, and
they figured it out this year.
They figured out this year, and it's a lot of the same guys that came back. They just had the offseason to get it figured out and get it where they needed to be. And so yeah, they got it figured out this year. Offensive line just looks brutal, and that's probably also contributing to the whole DJ Lagway thing. He just doesn't have time back there. Defense, EJ. Defensively, LSU scores 20 points. Sorry, 1 second. Total yards 322 for LSU. They had the one turnover, which was a horrible interception by Nussmeier.
He's good for one of those. He's good for one of those a game.
Yep, and that's what I was telling people. I'm like, he's going to throw. Remember we talked about this last week. He's going to throw an interception. He's going to make a mistake. We got to take advantage of the mistake, which we didn't do. They had only 10 first downs in the entire game, and they went 4 for 14 on third down. And 22-minute possession time, as we were talking about earlier. If you look at those stats alone, EJ, without the turnovers, that's an easy win for the Gators. Like an easy win. Like we're talking 3 scores for the Gators. And that didn't happen. We lose by 10 because of those turnovers. Defensively played really well. Caleb Banks did make an impact on this game. Went out with that foot injury, though. Probably came back too early. But did do a really good job while he was in there. We also didn't even have a Burrow. I think that's how you say his name. I'm going to butcher his last name. He was out in this game, I believe. And so we had Bet come back in, the guy that spit on the USF player last week.
Spitter.
And he played actually really well. He got in that backfield a few times. I feel like another thing that really hurt this. Now, like I said, the Gator defense played really well. One thing that did hurt this defense, though, EJ, we could have gotten 3 to 4 sacks in this game. But we just could not wrap them up in the backfield. We could have got so many tackles for loss, but they could not wrap them up in the backfield. We did a really good job tackling in the open field, except for when we had them for a loss. And we still only gave them 10 first downs. And a couple of those came on explosive plays. It's not like they were driving the ball down the field. There was a few plays, EJ, where they just found that open receiver. And that's going to happen when you have these receivers for LSU. And so I kind of expected that. Aaron Anderson, only 4 receptions. Sharp 3. Xavion Thomas 4. And Baron Brown, only 2 receptions for 26 yards. But there was a couple of big explosives in there. I thought we did a pretty good job wrapping up Caden Durham. He did have the long 51-yard run, but you take that away, and that's a pretty, what is that? That's That's like a 42-yard game on 14 carries, which looks a lot better than the 93 yards for 6.2 a carry. So if you take that big explosive play out of the way, we did a pretty good job containing Caden Durham there, and just overall this rush attack for LSU. So that was one of my big keys going into this game, was stop the run, force Nussmeier to drop back and have to make plays. And we did, and look what happened. They struggled. They could not get anything going. Even though that they did play, they also did call a pretty conservative game. The defense is not top 15, Kenny. Obviously, the total defense thing right now is a little, biased because of the different schedules that these teams are playing. The Gators are number 26, though, which is really good, considering some of the teams that we played. Secondary was very impressed, DJ. You're talking about, Johnson out there, and Bryce Thornton as well. Castell's playing pretty good in coverage. A couple of mistakes by Gates and Denson in this game, but overall, I thought the whole secondary played pretty well, containing a lot of these LSU receivers. And like you said, coming into this game, they were going to play more aggressive. We did play more aggressive at times, and I think that really paid off. Linebackers continues to be the best unit of this team, I think. Really happy with how Miles Graham is playing. Miles Graham, in my opinion, is probably one of the best players on the team, which is awesome to see from the sophomore. EJ, I'm gonna give you the baton here, but one thing I want to say, I'm really, really happy with how this Gator defense is playing just down the field. Like, we are sprinting at wherever the ball is, and I love to see that. We're playing aggressive. We're playing like an SEC defense. That's something that we haven't seen from our guys the past couple seasons. So that was a big thing for me.
No, 100%. We, Kenny, I think said it correctly. You did too. I mean, at this point, it's a championship level defense. It's a defense that's good enough to, from a national standpoint, to be a playoff level defense. We're playing, and I give a lot of credit to Rob Roberts, the defensive coordinator. I think the criticism that Roberts got, going into this role, was he wasn't aggressive enough, right? Austin Armstrong, as a defensive coordinator, took more risks. He blitzed a lot more. Rob Roberts rarely blitzes. If y'all have, I was just like, in the game, I was just like, screw it, just blitz the house on Nussmeier. Let's just blitz everything. But Rob Roberts has a strategy that, hey, we've got to be able to get pressure with our front four, and he let's have a little bit more max coverage on the back end. With that, we're 11th in the nation in first down defense, meaning first downs per I think it's a total out of a number of plays, we're 11th. We outgained the last three opponents in first downs, by 2-1. I think we had 23 first downs against LSU to their 10. Our first game of the year, remember, LIU, I think they only gained 2 first downs the entire game against us. We forced LSU to punt 7 times in the game, which is a season high for them. LSU's biggest play was the 51-yard run, which was, they iced the game and, took a knee there late. Outside of that 51-yard run, they were held to 41 yards rushing for the entire game other than that 51-yard run, which was insane. Mm-hmm. We've given up 2 total touchdowns in 3 games. That's insane. I remember Billy Napier's first year, we had a defense that was borderline FCS level. Like, it was like the last Dan Mullen year and the first Billy Napier year, statistically, our defense was literally FCS level in terms of tackling, aggressiveness, first downs, being able to defend passes, being able to beat blocks. all of that has seemed to have gone away, and we tackle better. We're in right position. Very rarely are we giving up significant plays. And the reality is, you're going to give up something because at the end of the day, when you're playing all these elite Heisman level quarterbacks, Byron Brown from USF is still a legitimately decent quarterback. Nussmeier's on everyone's Heisman for I don't know why, but he is. Carson Beck, uh, Arch Manning, Marcel Reed from A&M, Stockton from Georgia, maybe not up there, but Simmons from Ole Miss, Aguilar from Tennessee's playing great. Castellanos you're playing elite, you're not playing bad quarterbacks. And the reality is they're going to be able to react and move the ball. The defense, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but I hope they don't lose their fight, because it can become a little demoralizing when you're playing defense. You're getting stop after stop after stop. You're forcing LSU at night with their explosive offense, Heisman quarterback, to punt the ball 7 times. You only gave up 1 touchdown. Oh, and by the way, your offense turned the ball over 5 times and put you in sudden change situations 5 times. You still have not given up points. It can become demoralizing to the point to where, like, you know what? I'm out here tackling. I'm out here forcing fumbles. I'm out here giving our offense multiple chances, and yet we continue to. And if I miss a tackle, they're throwing me out the game and putting in another guy. Meanwhile, our quarterback is allowed to go out there and throw 5 interceptions into triple coverage, and he keeps going out there.
Yep.
So it's like, as a defense, there will be a breaking point to where it's like there's no point for us to play hard if the offense looks like that. Now, again, we could end up being like Iowa, which that's literally that's the team that reminded me most, who our team reminded me most of, is Iowa style of play, which is our defense is just going to completely hold you back the whole game, and our offense is going to possess the ball, and our strategy is we're going to keep the score so low that one play we can win the game. The issue with that is we don't play the offensive style of Iowa, which is run the football and throw 15 times. If you were to go into this game and say, hey, Billy, you can throw the ball 15 total times in this game, period, we would have won this game by 14 points, at least. At least. Just design plays to run the football. Misdirection, end around, power up the middle, Gator heavy, direct snap to ball, jump pat, something that's not DJ Lagway, who's completely incapable of reading defenses at this point, which is shocking, throwing the football directly to LSU. So defense, I have no doubt that they are going to show up. And, my prediction in this game was we would win the game, because when I looked at the statistics and the ratings and how both teams have played, I didn't assume DJ Lagway to throw 5 interceptions. And let's suppose he threw 2. The game would have been completely different. Mm-hmm. Now, LSU was not aggressive offensively because obviously you turn around and see it. You're like, well, Florida's not going to score on us, so why the hell do we need to take risks? And that's when Brian Kelly was really pissed at Nussmeier for throwing that interception, because he was kind of like, you didn't even need to throw the ball. Just take a sack, for crying out loud, So I really think this defense is championship level. It will keep us in every game. Billy Napier is going to have to figure out a way to limit passes directly into defenses, and can we run the football and just throw deep? Run, throw deep. Pretty much the only thing we need to do at this point.
Yeah. I really don't have much to add to that. I think you hit everything the way it needed to be hit. Yeah, the offense. That's something I was worried about too, EJ. I'm like, man, like the entire game I was sitting there with my dad watching. I was like, the defense is gonna break, and they never did.
It never broke. That is crazy.
It's crazy because we're used to seeing that from these Gator defenses. You know what I mean? They'll have those good games, and you're like, oh man, something's gonna happen, and it never did. And a lot of it had to do, yes, with that LSU play calling, but they did really good holding. I mean, was it Nick Anderson, right, the receiver for LSU, another big guy for them? We held them to I think 1 catch for 9 yards. Like, we did
He's
a really
great receiver too. He's a great receiver.
That's what I'm saying. And these guys did really, really good. I hope that Moore's okay in our secondary. I hope he because
he came back out there.
He did come back out. I hope it's not anything. Hope they didn't just wrap him up and threw him. Like, I don't know. I was surprised they didn't try to target him, Devin Moore. I thought that was kind of interesting after he came back out. So I do think he's okay, but I hope he's 100% for this upcoming game because these LSU receivers are very dangerous. But man, this Miami group that we're about to face with these receivers, very, very dangerous. Some of the best in the country. So yeah, EJ, I was happy with the defense, offense not so much. Special teams, very happy with special teams at some points. I thought that we have VB3 back there. He just keeps showing every game that no matter what kind of level of competition he faces, he's going to be a good returner for us. So big shout out to him. I thought that Tommy Doman did a really good job as well. He punted, quite a good amount of times in this game. Not as much as he should have with only 10 points being on the board, but did have a few punts and did a good job keeping those inside the 20. Bro has an absolute leg, and so he's a guy that we can kind of always rely on to have a decent punt. Trey Smack didn't get as many opportunities as once again he should have had, but he only had 1 attempt, right?
Yes. I think he was 1 for 1.
That's insane.
Oh, can we talk about really quick?
Yes.
I want to get your opinion on this. 45 seconds to go until halftime. I'm screaming at the TV with 100 San Diego Gator Club members and my friend Eric, hopefully he's watching. Take a knee. Just take a freaking knee because DJ Lagway is playing terrible. We need to regroup. We're tied at halftime. Thank God we're tied. Let's just go to halftime, and that's it. He throws it directly to LSU, and it resulted in LSU being able to – our defense held strong because it was like at the 35-yard line. They held strong, did not allow a touchdown, even though one of those passes we had to defend the pass and knock the ball away, and that's why Thornton is such a highly rated defensive back. So we didn't allow the LSU touchdown. They were trying to get aggressive, but they kicked the field goal to go 13-10. And I was thinking to myself, that's going to be the difference in this game. And Billy Napier, once again, yes, for 9 out of 10, I'm thinking to myself, we have plenty of time, 2-minute drill. Let's see if we can get into field goal range. But with a quarterback that was struggling like that, I was just like, let's just take a knee. We get the ball to start the second half. Let's invest all of our energy into that drive. What did you think about that interception, and what were you thinking on that last drive before half?
Yeah, Billy Napier is always usually the most conservative guy of all time, right? I think, was it you that mentioned this, EJ? It was like the middle 8 minutes or something, where it's
the worst.
Yeah, middle 8, the absolute worst. Whenever he needs to be aggressive, he's never aggressive. Whenever he needs to just sit back and regroup, he never does that. It's unbelievable. I said the same exact thing, EJ. I was like, your quarterback's struggling. Your quarterback already has a few interceptions. He's not reading the field right. Take a step back and go into halftime. You get the ball to start second half. You get the ball to start second half. Relax. And your quarterback goes out there and throws an interception. It's crazy. Look at these 10 points that was the separation between LSU and Florida. One was the pick six, and the other one was those 3 points that they got right before the half. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's insane. I was yelling at my TV too, EJ. You're not the only one. It's just like he can never make the right decision going into halftime. Never. You're also too. his offense, even if we did want to get those points, it's not built to move down the field like that. That's my biggest issue with Billy Napier's offense, right? And this is another issue I have. It's not explosive. And if it is, it's totally reliant on the players themselves. And yeah, that's great when you have these great players like DJ Lagway, that is explosive, and like Jaden Ball, it's explosive. But you can't fully always, you got to help your guys out. You have to get, you got to scheme up plays. You have to get some formations in there that's going to help them. You can't fully rely on them to make something happen every single play. And that's what Billy Napier is. He runs a basic offense and does a good job recruiting to where he gets these big playmakers in there, and they have their moments, but he never helps them out. He never puts them in situations to succeed. It's always them that are bailing themselves out. And so that's my big issue with the DJ. So I agree. I was yelling at my TV. I was really frustrated.
Yeah, and VB3, Vernell Brown, and Eugene Wilson are probably the two most dynamic, Percy Harvin type players. Nothing designed for them. Nothing. Like, if it was me, I'd be like, we're going to throw 10 screens to these guys. Like, screw throwing the ball down the field. We're going to screen to VB3, and we're going to power straight ahead with ball. And hey, if they stop us, oh well, that's what we got. And we'd be like 10 times better than Iowa, because those two players are like significantly better than anyone they've ever had on offense. So Kenny did put in the do you think they're not firing Billy because they don't want the team to fall apart? Well, maybe this will, transition if we're, done talking about this LSU meltdown.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were gonna keep going. No, I'm down to stop talking about this game. It was poor performance by the offense, man. Defense did their thing. There's potential there. You're right, Kenny. I just looked it up, and yeah, UCLA and Virginia Tech did fire their coaches very early on in the season. I definitely think that's what it is. I think that they are a little bit scared to see the team fall apart, especially when they did play, LSU like that, and the defense did not give up even though the offense was struggling. So I think that's probably what it is, Kenny. But that's why I believe, we'll give our Miami. By the way, I'm going to the game this week, and that's going to be interesting.
Oh my God! Oh, the stadium is terrible, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, I went there for a concert, so I haven't been there. Or no, I went there for the Orange Bowl, Clemson versus Tennessee in 2022. That was a wild game. I was sitting back around a bunch of Tennessee fans. Tennessee fans are really nice when you're not playing them. They're great.
I was at that game too, by the way, because Deshaun, my nephew, was playing for Tennessee at the time. But the stadium is nice, but it's located in a terrible location. And after the game, you need to have a plan as to, and for all Gator fans going to that game, how are you getting out of the stadium? Because Uber is like non-existent for like a mile radius of the stadium. So just so you know, just have a plan. Like, are you driving? Are you parked? Like, how the hell are you getting out of there? Because that stadium is the worst.
Oh, it's in the middle of a neighborhood. It makes no sense. It's horrendous. The parking and getting out of there was brutal. I agree. What was I going at? Oh yeah. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to probably, once again, I think we're going to fire Billy Napier this year. I think that's going to happen. I think it's probably going to happen right before probably the bye week. They're going to do it on a bye week for sure. So will they do it after the Miami game, or are they going to do it after the Mississippi State game, right? I think that's right before the Georgia game or before that bye week. So it's probably going to be at one of those two locations. The thing is, what I'm so worried about is Billy Napier is going to somehow, because he's done this every year, sneak out a really good win. And I just hope that it's not going to happen in this section here, because if he goes into Miami and beats Miami, which there is a world that happens. There is.
There is a alternative universe where that actually happens, people.
Yeah. And it would not surprise me with Billy Napier. But if he goes in there and beats Miami, he's probably going to stay the rest of the year no matter what happens. I'm just going to say that right now. And then they'll probably fire him very later on. I'm worried that that's what's going to happen. But if they do lose, which is probably going to happen, I think in a couple weeks we'll probably see the departure happen. I think with Scott Strickland also signing his extension, I think he's more willing to fire Billy Napier. I think with Todd Golden winning a national championship for the basketball team, I think Scott Strickland once again is willing to fire Billy Napier. And so I think that that's going to happen very, very soon. But not anytime this week, Kenny. I don't think we're going to see that this week. But I think especially if we go in and lose to Miami by 3 scores, he's gone. I don't know how you feel. What are your thoughts on that, EJ? When do you think he'll be fired? Do you think he'll be fired this year? How are you feeling there? And Kenny, I want to answer a few of your messages as well after this.
Yeah, definitely. We appreciate Kenny for being on with us. Here's the crazy thing. Watching Miami and then watching Florida, Miami is not significantly better from a pound for pound, player for player standpoint. They are playing as we should be playing if we had a coaching staff that actually developed the strategy to suit the players and we actually had a game plan, right? We had an offensive game plan that worked. And by the way, our quarterback, for some reason, knows how to play. So with that said, there is a universe where the light switches, the light switch comes on, and DJ Lagway goes from what we're seeing to a materially better player. If you think about a 31 PFF grade in the LSU game, if he's just 60, like doubles that to get to 60, which is still below average according to their ratings, but right around 50th percentile of all quarterbacks that they rate, that might have been good enough to win this game. Like, he had to be historically bad for us to actually lose that game. So there is a world where we go to Miami and he plays at the 50th percentile of all quarterbacks. We run the football, we minimize turnovers, the defense gets after Carson Beck. Carson Beck and Nussmeier are similar, but Carson Beck seems to just be in a better headspace right now. I think a lot of it is due to the fact that they don't leave their stadium for like the first 6 weeks of the season. Like, they've played every game at home. So, that helps, right? But when you look at Florida and you look at, for example, Notre Dame, our defense, in my opinion, in looking at Notre Dame, we have a better defense than Notre Dame's right now. From a defensive line standpoint, from a coverage standpoint, linebackers, I think our linebackers are playing much better than what I thought they would be playing.
Phenomenal.
They're playing great. Our defense can go to Miami and hold Miami to mid-20s scoring, just like Notre Dame did. The question is that offensive attack. Notre Dame's offense is just a little bit more trustworthy in terms of not turning it over, running the football, spreading you out, and then hitting you through the gaps, as opposed to bunch formation where one defender can guard 3 guys. Like, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So, and then you wonder, well, why is he throwing interceptions? Well, because you have 2 receivers with 4 defensive backs. So, yeah, he's going to throw an interception. Anyway, so we are as good as Notre Dame if Billy Napier has a game plan that minimizes turnovers, can, move the football, you call decent plays, screens, and all these types of things to keep the offense moving along. We can keep that game close. Where that game gets out of hand is how this one should have got out of hand, with turnovers. Mm-hmm. But our defense is good enough to come right back and actually stop Miami from scoring. So that is why I think that game is going to be somewhat close. And as a result of that, I don't think they're going to be like, oh, well, guys, Miami's LSU was number 3 in the country. I don't think they should be number 3, but they're number 3, and we lost by a close margin. You're going to go to Miami, who's top 5, we're probably going to lose the same way. And so it's kind of like, well, why would we fire him if we're unranked and we thought we would lose those games anyway going into the season and our opponents are top 5? We fire him because this is his 4th year, just like these other people. And why the hell are they in the top 5 and we're not? That's why you should fire him. And the other thing, Dan Mullins. Can we talk about Dan Mullen for 2 seconds and I'll throw it back? Mullins. Why was he fired? First of all, Dan Mullen would have never had an offensive performance like this. Just throwing that out there. But, I was thinking yesterday, we fired Dan Mullen because he effectively quit on the team and didn't recruit and didn't really care about, recruiting. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hindsight 2020, we are effing dumb. Because recruiting, when you look at the actual numbers, because I just looked it up the other day, Mullen's recruiting classes were like 9.8 and Billy Napier is like 10.8. So Mullen was recruiting better than Napier. And the second thing is, with the new age of NIL, you don't need to recruit it. You just replace the teams. And you get a quarterback every year, and a new quarterback every year, like Notre Dame or Miami. Miami just, give me the Washington State quarterback. Give me Carson Beck. Do that for Dan Mullen. So he doesn't have to really recruit like that anymore. We probably could have. And Dan Mullen, I saw a meme. Hey, I'm 3-0. You miss me at Gators? Just absolute asinine. But anyway, yeah, I don't think they're going to fire him after the Miami game. I think the game's going to probably be competitive. I don't see a world where Miami is good enough to blow us out unless we turn it over 5 times again. Then they will blow us out. It could go another way where they turn it over 4 times and we score off those. And so, that's just my opinion. I think we're probably as good as Notre Dame. Notre Dame went in there, played them close. I still picked Miami to win that game because I think their offense is a little bit better. Miami this game's going to be close, but Miami you trust them more. They're going to win. They're going to keep Billy Napier because it's a close game. It's going to take a performance where it just looks like we just gave up for them to fire him. Very similar to when we went to South Carolina back in 2021. And it just looked like the team just sort of quit. And South Carolina ended up beating us like 48-20 or whatever that score was. Mm-hmm. Then it was just kind of like, okay, the team's not playing anymore. You're not recruiting. The team's not playing. Emory Jones is terrible. You're fired.
Yeah, I also feel like it's also the reason that people why we need to fire Billy is the fact that he's not making any changes. If he hired an offensive coordinator and we were still struggling, then I'd be like, all right, you know what? But he hired an offensive coordinator. But he's just doing the same thing over and over. Now, I see what you mean. I'm still in favor of what we did with Dan Mullen, mainly because I feel like, while his recruiting classes they were good, it was more of an abundance of it was an abundance of like 3 stars, right? A lot of those 4 stars. He didn't really have those big, oh my God, commits. And that's one thing that I do like that Billy Napier has done is he's gotten those, oh my God, you know what I mean? So I feel like there has been a little bit of a step up there in that sense. But I agree. I think Mullen in the transfer portal era at Florida would be very, very interesting. We just never got to see that. I do understand that that take a lot there. So
it's just my frustration. It's just my frustration.
I mean, we wouldn't have all those 5 and 7, 6 and 6 seasons with Dan Mullen, I promise you that. We hired Billy Napier for that upside, and Kenny made a great point. And you did too, EJ. Mario Cristobal Brian Kelly all got hired the same time as Billy Napier. And we are where we are, and they're where they are.
Oh, here's another one. The Vanderbilt head coach. What's his record?
Oh, Clark Lee? Yeah. Big win. Big couple wins.
What is this guy's record? Like, are you kidding me?
With Vanderbilt.
Never have I ever. This guy was born in 1981. Okay? He's an 80s baby. And wait a minute. Well, he's 19 and 33. Okay. Well, I don't think is that at at Vanderbilt?
I don't know. But point is he's turned around his program this year.
Yeah. He turned around the damn program.
He's gotten 3 really, really solid wins in a row. And a big SEC win over a South Carolina team at Williams-Brice Stadium. Point is Billy, and I think now he's probably have the same amount of road wins in the SEC as Billy Napier. Actually, I want to know that stat, EJ. How many road SEC games does Clark Lee have under his belt? Because I believe Billy Napier only has 1. That's
okay.
just I just want to throw that.
I can look that up.
I
know that Vanderbilt is 10-6 in their last 16 games,
which means that they probably have a few road wins in the SEC. So just want to say that. Let me read some of Kenny's things, then I want to get into week 3, and then we'll dive into this Miami game even heavier. Mizell needs to be on the field way more. Agree. Strickland can't be on the next hire. Yeah, I think the Billy Napier hire was the right hire at the time. I would say so. It was definitely a risk, but I didn't mind the he was probably up there for me. I'm not the biggest Lane Kiffin guy in the world, and so I know people are wanting him. I think also too I don't think he would ever leave Ole Miss personally. Miami got USF when they gave us their all, and they had nothing else. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there for sure. We got to stop those slants. Yeah, that's the thing about Miami. They love slants, bro. Miami loves slants. So we even struggled on a few of those against LSU. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Mullen knows how to scheme up a great game with less talent. It's very true. That's very true. All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and dive into this week 3. I'm gonna have to spend too much time on these games. Just a little recap. We'll go through our picks, what we picked, and how that went. Hold up. Let me actually get this up real fast. All right, here we go. First game of this is Friday night, or Thursday night. I don't know. I just know. I think it was Thursday night. North Carolina State went to Wake Forest and gets a win 34-24 in a really fun game. I picked there we go. Sorry. I picked Wake Forest to get the win. Robbie Ashford, though, can never get away from the turnovers. 2 interceptions was really brutal. I believe you picked the same. EJ, you picked Wake Forest. Even though NC State was favored, I wasn't the biggest fan of NC State. And they keep proving me wrong. They're a weird team, man. Not a great defense, but they got a nice win here.
Yeah. Okay. So I had to look it up while we were talking really quick.
Yes.
Clark Lee, 4 road wins at Vanderbilt, Colorado State in 2021, Kentucky in 2022, Auburn last year, South Carolina this year. Billy Napier, 4 road wins as a Gator head coach. A&M in 2022, y'all remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina in 2023, Mississippi State in 2024. Actually, there's only 3. Yeah, 3. Sorry, I miscounted. So Clark Lee has more Power 5 road wins than freaking Billy Napier. Okay, so anyway, Wake Forest, great win. NC State won.
NC State, yep.
I picked Wake Forest to win that game. I just went with the home team. That's actually a really long-standing rivalry. The game showed 2 competent teams that knew who they were, trying to battle it out. NC State is, they're turning it around. They've got a great basketball coach that's going to be coaching for them this year. Their football team has had a couple of big wins the last 2 weeks that I picked against them. Great win.
Really good win there. Next one we have, but we're 0-1 going into this next one. Kansas State goes to Arizona and loses 23-17. I picked Kansas State. EJ, you picked Arizona. Arizona was favored by like 1.5 points in this game. But I just thought Avery Johnson might be able to finally turn that corner. But no, the Wildcats go to 1-3, or the Kansas State Wildcats, because they're both Wildcats, take the L, man. And they're 1-3 now on the year. Avery Johnson still looks horrendous.
Yeah, something's up with these quarterbacks that are returning. Just Avery Johnson, 13 of 29 for 88 yards. Like, what the hell is that, dude? Like, what is happening right now? 88 yards passing. I just don't understand that. I mean I did pick Arizona, but their quarterback
Fifta.
Fifta, I mean, he wasn't any better, but they're more of a running team. They ran the ball all over Kansas State, demoralized them. And then again, when you're able to run the football and score and put the pressure on the other team's offense, the other team offense panics and is out of character, and now they have to throw it. Avery Johnson can't throw it. You play right into the defense's hands, you lose. And that's what happened. Even though Kansas State, I think, is probably a little bit more talented.
Yep, I totally agree. Next game we have Minnesota favored by 2.5 at Cal. Cal gets the win 27-14. This, I think, was the lock of the week, man. You know me, EJ. I've been high on this Cal team ever since the beginning of the season. And, man, it's because of that young quarterback that they have. I believe he's a true freshman. Absolute monster. Has a great game, man. I really like this Cal team. I think they're going to have a really good year. I think they have a pretty easy schedule, too, if I'm not mistaken. So keep an eye out for this Cal team. Really good win here over Minnesota.
Yeah, great job for Cal. Minnesota has a really highly rated defense, even though they played Buffalo and I think like Northwestern State. So I thought that would give them a chance, but Cal is playing really, really, really well. The Big Ten. So Cal is technically, I always get confused with Cal and Washington State. So they're Pac-12. Right? But they're just playing.
Are they Pac-12?
Or the ACC?
I thought they're ACC.
I think Cal's okay.
Yeah,
okay, Cal's ACC. Okay,
yeah.
So it's just a weird situation with Cal.
Yeah. Poor guys have to fly everywhere all the time, dude. That traveling's brutal.
Yeah.
Next one, and we both picked Cal for that one. Next one we have is Tulane, or the Duke Blue Devils at Tulane. Former Tulane quarterback Darian Menza is playing his previous team in the stadium, which is really interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, wild storyline there. I was really excited for this game. And Duke loses 27-34. I had Duke in this game. I thought Mensa couldn't afford to go into his former team's place and lose, but they did. I think, this just really came down to Tulane. This was a very evenly matched game. But yeah, just Tulane started off a lot faster. And Duke tried to catch up late there in the game, could not get it done.
Tulane, where you at? Evenly matched game, but I just went with Tulane because they're playing at home, and Duke did not impress me at all in their game the week before against Illinois. So I just rolled the dice with Tulane. Tulane got off to a hot start, and that's all they needed.
There you go. Next game we have, you got that one right, by the way. Next one we have USF at Miami. I just threw this on here just in case if there is an upset, just to screw up our record. But I did pick Miami to win and to cover that 16.5 spread as well. You did as well, EJ. Miami gets it done 49-12. We'll talk about, obviously, Miami here in a bit. Carson Beck throws his first pretty bad interception of the year. He had 2 interceptions. The other one was just kind of a tip ball, try to fit into a tight window. And got tipped up in the air. But a fun game overall, good game to look at considering we played the same team in USF, just for a little comparison, and so we can prep for this Miami. I think it's good for the Gators too, you know what I mean? They have good film now to look at for these guys, but a good win for Miami here.
Yeah, Miami dominated, very similar to really how we should have played against USF, but The other interesting thing about this game, Beck was 25 of 30 with 2 interceptions, but had 12.4 yards per pass in the game, just dominating. The other thing is, Miami had 9 turnovers or 9 penalties to USF's 2 penalties. So it reminds me of like Steve Spurrier. Like Steve Spurrier's teams were the most penalized teams in the nation, but they scored 47 points a game. So no one cared. So Miami scored 49 points. Yeah, you can get 10 penalties. But when you can only score 16, you can't have 11 penalties, Billy.
Nope. Next one, we have Vanderbilt at South Carolina in Williams-Brice Stadium. South Carolina loses 31-17, really because of Lenore Sellers very early on in the game. Goes out with the concussion. And obviously, their backup, Luke Doty, couldn't come and really do too much. Theo Vaughn now gets to go on a date with Diago Pavia's mom. Fun little bet that they made.
Yeah, I picked South Carolina. You can't really. I don't think you could have picked against them at home in this game. But other than that, Clark Lee, give him credit. Solid team. You have a good physical quarterback. But still, regardless, to win, if you're that dependent on Sellers, that's kind of not good. If you're South Carolina, because at the end of the day, I remember last year, when Mertz came out, your backup is still decent. Now, if you're on your third string, okay, I get it. But South Carolina, you got to have somebody that can come in there and do something. And Doty just wasn't explosive enough against the Vanderbilt defense.
No, Sanders is that entire South Carolina team, and they know it. And so hopefully Sellers is going to be back soon. We have the Killsborough Cane in here. I said LSU pressured DJ 23 out of his 55 of his dropbacks. Miami might have a defensive line similar to LSU with a better offense. We were definitely talking about that.
Yeah,
the second interception by Beck was intended for a different receiver. Tony jumped up and tipped it. Okay, I did not know that. I did see that there was 2 guys in the same area. Something definitely happened there. Go Canes. See you soon, Gators. Appreciate you. We're about to break down that game here in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, we're breaking down that. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I do think LSU's defense is, I would probably say it's better just because they do a little bit more from a scheme standpoint. But there's no question about it that Miami's offense is playing significantly better than LSU's right now. So you throw 5 interceptions against Miami, it's going to look like the Texas game from last year that, when we went there, got beat 49-10 or whatever it was. So, yeah.
I totally agree. Next game we have, this was wild. I was driving out of Atlanta when this bad boy was going down. Almost went to this game. Clemson goes to Georgia Tech, goes to Atlanta for the first time in a couple, or not for the first time. I don't think they played last year, actually. And Georgia Tech gets the win 24-21 on a last-second field goal. Unbelievable. They rushed him out on the field, and they get it, man, as time expired. Unreal game. Haynes King is him. Bro is one of the most talented runners I've ever seen at the quarterback position. And Cade Clubb, Clemson has not figured out how to get off to a fast start. It's unreal. Once again, 0 points scored in the first quarter. They get a touchdown there in the second half, but Clemson, man, and then no real run game. They had a one big run by Adam Randall that was 30 yards, but I mean, still not a great run game by Clemson either, man. Their offense is not explosive with a pretty solid defense.
No, I took your when you said in the preseason that you like Georgia Tech as a sleeper. Wait, did you put them in the playoffs?
I put him as a playoff, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, oh, okay, let me look at Georgia Tech. Logan's high on them. And so I know they got the Texas A&M transfer, Haynes King. Let me tell you something. Their freaking coach, Brent Keys is his name, Brent Key. That man can coach his freaking ass off. Georgia Tech has a great scheme offensively. It is extremely frustrating to defend. Clemson comes out there with significantly more talent on their defense. And the only way a defense has an advantage of an offense in the sport of football, you just have to be more athletic. Because if you're even, the rules of the game always tend to favor the offense. So the defense, you just have to have more athletes than the other team's offense. And that's what Clemson has. But Georgia Tech has a great scheme with Haynes King and a power running game with the quarterback, like Tim Tebow, keep the ball out of the hands. But the thing that I really liked about in this game was the clock management of this Georgia Tech. Man, just so good. Like late in the game, you're driving to get into the territory, you're taking care of the football, you're not throwing the ball up for grabs, you're getting it methodically into field goal range. You use your last timeout with 12 seconds to go, and then you're able to run your special teams on in 12 seconds to kick the game-winning field goal. That's, oh, by the way, 55 yards. Insane, incredible coaching. Billy Napier, can you take notes from this Georgia Tech guy? He is running circles around you as to how to organize a team and coach. Jeez,
Honestly.
Excellent job by Georgia Tech.
You know what really pisses? So you picked Georgia Tech to win this game. I actually picked Clemson last minute. Preseason, I had Georgia Tech. I had this is the biggest upset of the year.
That was my. Yeah.
But after they went and almost got upset by Troy, I was like, you know what? I think they're gonna bounce back in and somehow find a way to win this game. And I regret that, considering I had Georgia Tech winning this game preseason. But never second guess your picks, boys. Next one we have Georgia, favored by 4.5, goes to Tennessee and gets it done in overtime. What a game this was, man. I think a couple takeaways. Number one, like I was trying to tell people, Tennessee's a good football team. Joey Aguilar is a good quarterback. Now, we still threw the 2 picks in this game. A couple of them were pretty bad, but they were a nice little team. I like this. I really like this Tennessee team. Another thing, a big takeaway that I was wrong about is Gunnar Stockton is a very solid quarterback, dude. Going into this year, I was not the biggest fan of him. I didn't see much from him, but, bro, his ball placement is unbelievable. Like, actually insane. So, yeah, both these teams are very dangerous. They showed it. This is an all-time classic in Neyland Stadium, man. Unreal job by this Georgia team on just staying composed in this environment and getting it done, winning. And I picked Georgia to win, and they got it done.
Just an incredible football game and very indicative of just wild and freaking 44-41 in overtime. Are you kidding me? Like 502 yards by Georgia, 496 by Tennessee. Just 2 very well-coached teams battling it out. Georgia has the talent advantage. They have the star rating and the big game experience over Tennessee. But Josh Heupel put his team in best position to win. Joey Aguilar, what a great story. I saw the story of him on College Game Day. Incredible story. He had a great game. The 2 interceptions were really the big, differentiator in this game. I thought, because I think Georgia was able to capitalize.
He almost threw one in overtime as well.
Oh yeah, and he almost threw one in overtime. And that was kind of the difference in the game, because not only for Tennessee did you allow Georgia to score, you prevented your team from. So it's like a 14-point turnaround. But either way, Tennessee's going to have a great year. I know their fans were really upset about this one, and the Georgia fans are elated. But great game.
Yeah, great game overall. And like, was this a 7? I don't know if.
Sven.
There you go. Yeah, you said that kicker can't make a 42-yard field goal. Yeah, they had it right there to win the game and couldn't get it done.
Yeah,
that was wild.
Yeah, that was true too. Tennessee, missed that field goal, but
had it.
Hey, and I had a feeling they were going to miss that thing too. I was like,
too.
I don't think he's going to make it. This game is too crazy. It's too wild and crazy for Tennessee. It just didn't feel like they were going to make it.
When the camera went and panned over and the kicker looked like me, I was like, yeah, they're not making it. All right, next one we have is Texas A&M at Notre Dame in front of touchdown Jesus. They lose this game. Notre Dame had control. They had control of this game at a couple points and just lost it, man. They lose 41-40 and an unreal game. Texas A&M is everything I thought they would look like. Baby Marcel Reed is throwing that ball all over the place against this Notre Dame defense. They have a really good run game with Le'Veon Moss, and they got Owens back there as well, who didn't really show up in this game, but is a very talented back. And this receiving core, this is the big question going into this year. Mario Craver and KC Concepcion, both of these receivers, the transfers that they've added to this team have really balled out. Craver, 7 receptions for 207 yards. I mean, unreal. It's such an explosive game from that side of things. Notre Dame, though, man, 23 carries for Jeremiah Love. That's what we should be doing with Jaden Ball. Like, we should remember that was a big issue in that Miami game when they played Miami. They didn't run Jeremiah Love at all. They got like 8 carries or something like that, and everyone's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And then in this game, they were like, "All right, bet we're not going to make that mistake again." And they had control because of that. Texas A&M starts to lock in, get stuff done, have a few explosive plays, and they win the game, man. Last second, wild game.
Again, too well coached. Like, I'm just, as a Gator fan, I'm just loving watching these games of 2 really good teams with 2 really good coaches. Somebody's going to lose, right? And it sucks, but at least I'm watching 2 teams prepared to play the game, mentally ready to go. Texas A&M, you called it out. They were going to be really, really good. They're very difficult to defend. Like, this team, Marcel Reed is not the most accurate passer in the world, but it doesn't matter. It's just hard to get them off of the field. Mm-hmm. And Notre Dame is just a really good defense. They couldn't really do it enough to win them this game. Both teams well over 400 yards of offense. Both teams with the the turnover, but Notre Dame taking the early lead and then surrendering that to Texas A&M pretty much by halftime. Texas A&M scoring that touchdown to take the lead going into halftime was the difference in the game. And man, what a play! 4th and goal. I'm just thinking to myself, just pass interfere. There was another game I was just like, just tackle the guy. Don't let him catch it, even though they'll give him the ball at the 2-yard line. Live another day, Notre Dame, but just an incredible game.
Yep, wild game, man. What a good week for college football. Love to see it. And I picked Notre Dame in that game because I thought they're like Saven just said, Notre Dame's back is against the wall. They can't start the year, 0-2, and they start the year 0-2. Wild.
Yeah, that
really
was
tough to. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you played Miami and you should have won this A&M game.
Yep.
But when you look at the rest of their schedule, I don't think they're gonna. I mean, who do they play? Purdue. They have an interesting game at Arkansas. That's an interesting one.
Ooh, that's fun.
But I don't really. Pitt, you screwed me over. They are significantly better than any other team left on their schedule. So they're going to finish 9-3 at the worst, probably 10-2.
Yeah.
So they'll be right there.
Curious on where they get placed. All right. So that means that to end that off, I was 3-6. EJ was 6-3 on the year. That means I'm 16-12. EJ 21-7. There you go, EJ. He's ahead, man. He's killing it. Love to see it. Love to see it. Now it's time for the Miami preview here. EJ, I'm gonna just pass this on to you. If you just want to do an overall preview of it, I'm gonna go use the restroom, and then if you want to swap too.
Yep. Let's do that.
Okay, cool. I'll let you start. Just like 2-minute preview of the game, and then we'll do a switch midway through.
All right, so guys, let's just give you some stats here. So, Miami is a really good team. It was difficult for us to assess how good they would be replacing Cam Ward with Carson Beck, and how quickly Carson Beck would get comfortable in the Mario Cristobal scheme and the offense. He's done a phenomenal job early in the season doing that. 50 out of 67 for 549 yards, 4 touchdowns. Um, so far this season, incredible. Mark Fletcher, um, excellent running back for Miami. Right now, 272 yards rushing total. Malachi Tony, a deadly wide receiver for them, 228 yards rushing, gets separation. He and Carson Beck are both on the same page. It's clear that these two have developed a good relationship in the offseason, and it's something that DJ Lagway has not done so far with any of his receivers. You cannot watch a Florida game in the first 3 games and see and point out this is DJ Lagway's favorite receiver. You know, it's like, who is his favorite receiver? Last year, Elijah Badger and well, really, it was Elijah Badger. Cam DK was also sort of like the second wide receiver that really had a good relationship with DJ Lagway. And honestly, that may just be the difference, is that he formed a relationship with those two guys playing in the offseason, playing in the regular season, knew where they were going to be, knew what routes they like to run, knew if to throw it underneath or high. You know, he doesn't have that with his receivers. Carson Beck, unfortunately, has that with Malachi Tony right now, and it's not going to look good for the Gator defense, which is our strength right now. I also think that when you look at this, you know, Miami team, and the interesting thing is completion percentage. Lagway 70%. I mean, which is insane to think. Yards per rush, Miami only allows 2.5. Florida rushes at 4.3. Third down, you know, Miami actually is not elite on third down defense. So, you know, they're allowing 45%. We're converting 40%. So, you know, maybe Florida can keep their averages there. The turnovers are a significant issue right now for Florida. And, you know, Florida is averaging 2 giveaways a game to Miami's 0.67 takeaways on average a game. So even if we came into this game even to Miami, which we're not on the offensive end, I think special teams and defense, I think we match Miami. The key difference is offense. And the one thing that I always ask when you preview a game, and if you're new to college football, just think about this. Ask yourself these 2 questions. Who's got the better defense and who's got the better quarterback? Whenever you're trying to predict a game, if the same team has both, pick that team to win 100%, especially if they're playing at home. It's like 75% of the time that team's going to win. In this game, Miami's at home. They've got a better quarterback. Defensively, I actually think Florida's defense is comparable to Miami's statistically. I think we're as good as Notre Dame's defense, which was able to at least prevent Miami from scoring 40 or something points. But Miami is still capable of scoring high 20s, low 30s against Florida on an even, all things equal day, because they just have a really good offense. And the question is, can Florida score more than 13 points, which is what we've scored on average the last 2 games? We've scored a total of, 26 points the last 2 games. It's going to take more than 26 points to win this game. More points than we've scored the last 2. So, I see Logan's back. I'll throw it back over to Logan. But at the end of the day, we're going to need to have a complete game plan offensively to reduce turnovers, not turn it over, if we're going to have a chance at winning this game. Carson Beck does not like Florida. He never lost to us when he was at Georgia. He does not plan on losing to us again. And Mario Cristobal wants to make a statement because he's in a recruiting battle with well, maybe not Billy Napier anymore, but with Florida. So they wanted to make a statement last year. They did. They want to make a statement this year. Let's see if they'll do that.
There you go. All right. Well, let's give my little preview on kind of what I think the keys are going to be going into this game. So yeah, look, Sven, I totally understand that. I could see a 38-10. But, they said that with the LSU game last year. They said that with the Ole Miss game last year. They said that with the LSU game this past weekend. And Florida keeps it very competitive, even with, those 5 interceptions and those turnovers that they did have. So I get that. But I think Florida is going to put up a fight in this game, especially. Like, one thing that I respect, Sven, about Billy Napier is Billy Napier keeps his team together. And he never loses the locker room. And I think that you're going to see that in this game. Beck needs a monster year to get in this discussion for a first or second round pick. Yeah, so here's my thing. One thing that I really enjoy about Carson Beck, and I feel like I saw especially in the USF game and some of these others, and against Notre Dame as well, is he's so good when it comes to going through his progressions because he has a lot of time with this offensive line. He's had a lot.
Yo, Logan, can you hear us? Your audio went out. Modern technology, everybody. We're wait, we still can't hear you. Well, while Logan's trying to get his audio back, let's see, Sven. Miami has a function offense with a fifth-year veteran quarterback and a good offensive line. They will score at will on you. Here's the deal. Um, there's a thing called complementary football, Sven. If Florida's offense was remotely capable of doing what their talent profile suggests they should be able to do, you're able to put their offense in situations where their playbook is limited and your defense can actually attack. Statistically speaking, Florida is one of the better defenses left on Miami's schedule. Um,
Hear me
so
now?
if they score at will on us, yeah, we can hear you now,
Okay.
Logan.
All right. There we go. Jesus. All right. Sorry about that. You continue with what you're saying.
Yeah, I was just gonna I was just commenting on Sven's comment that Miami's just gonna score at will on us
Mhm.
because we're and I'm just saying statistically speaking, and from a combined with talent, the Florida defense is the best defense left on Miami's schedule. So if they line up and just score at will on us, it's either a couple of things. Number one, our offense has turned the ball over and given Miami easy striking, low pressure, uh, high playbook availability. Number two, the defense is just given up because why should the defense continue to play if our offense is so terrible, right? Um, or three, I just don't think Miami is at this level where they're just significantly better than everyone else. Like if you're talking about like the Jameis Winston 2013 Florida State offense or the 2019 Joe Burrow offense, Miami is not those offenses. So, they can be rattled. Just go back and look at that Notre Dame game. Notre Dame kept that game close because they ran the football, they played complementary football, and when Miami got the ball back, they had pressure to actually put the ball down the field and score, and they were able to do it, but Notre Dame's offense wasn't explosive enough to put points on the board. So, I can see what you're saying. Miami can certainly run away with this game, but I think they run away with this game if Florida turns it over, like I said before. So I'll throw it back to you, Logan.
Yeah, no, you're good. One thing, it's when my mic went out, one thing I was talking about was our defense against this offense, which is pretty funny, ironically. One thing about Carson Beck is, like I said, his PFF grade when he is not getting blitzed at all is an 82, like an 82. He's 82.1. He's really, really good. Like I was talking about how one thing that's the most impressive thing about or aspect about Carson Beck is he goes through his progressions so well. If it's not there, he goes to the next one. He knows where his receivers are going to be. He knows the playbook like the back of his hand. He loves the system that he's working in. And so that's definitely the most impressive thing about Carson Beck for me, EJ. Now, one interesting thing is when you do blitz, his PFF grade drops all the way down to a 63. Okay? So it's not uncommon for quarterbacks, but there are quarterbacks that do better actually when it comes to blitzing.
Yeah, there are, exactly.
There are a few. Carson Beck's not one of those guys. It drops down to 63, which is below the average. Now, I think that what scares me is our defense coordinator, Ron Roberts, does not like to blitz. Like you said, he's not a super aggressive defensive coordinator. And if you just drop back and rush four or maybe bring one guy, maybe Carson Beck's going to eat that up. You really have to be aggressive when it comes to this defense. You got to show him different looks. And one thing that I did like is I did see a little bit of fun concepts with our defense against LSU. There was a few times where they mixed up some of the blitzing, mixed up some of the formations and pre-snap formations. And so I was pretty happy with that. If we do that in this game, that is the way that we are going to be able to stop this team is also stop the run. If we can stop Mark Fletcher in this rushing attack from Miami while being able to get pressure on Carson Beck, I think that the Gators are in a really, really good position to keep Miami below 20 points. I really do think that. It's really going to depend on the pressure that we get on Carson Beck, because even if they're not able to run the football, Carson Beck is still going to be able to destroy our secondary with some of these receivers. They have a really, really good group. They do have a really, really good group around him in the receiving core, whether it's the true freshman Tony or CJ Daniels, which, by the way, made a super, super impressive catch once again against USF. Bro can he catches whatever's thrown at him. You have Marion out there as well. Those are three receivers that already have 117 plus yards out there in these games, and Tony's really popping off. So I think the key going in this game, like I said, is to get, for me, the stat that I have written down is 2 or more sacks on Carson Beck. They've only let up 2 sacks this entire season. That's a big reason why Carson Beck has played so well, is because he can sit back and go through his progressions the entire game. So if the Gators can get in there, if they can disrupt, and that means the linebackers get home on blitzes, that means that, if we're going to blitz that nickel can come in and get stuff done. If that means that Sapp and Jaden Woods and all these guys on the outside can get to Carson Beck, I think it's going to be a long day for this Miami offense, and it's going to be very frustrating, especially after these 2 games that they've had. So I think that's my defensive key right there. EJ, do you have any thoughts on that aspect of things?
So the defensive key for me is to continue to stop the run with the front 4, which is what Florida has been able to do. That's Rob Roberts' special, is let's stop the run without having to load the box. And if you watch Florida's formations, we do not load the box. The one thing that I said going into this LSU game that gives Florida an advantage in this game is Rob Roberts' defenses play much better when the quarterback of the other team is not mobile. Now, Carson Beck is a little bit more mobile than Nussmeier, not tremendously more mobile. And it is certainly not Miami's intention to run him. So the challenge I think in this game is going to be the situation Miami's offense is in. And so I'll have that be the key is you got to play defense with offense in this game, meaning continue to possess the ball, continue to run the football against Miami. Florida, I think, can do that. Um, I don't know if we can score, but we can play keep away and force Miami to have to throw the football. And I think if you can do that, you can come after Carson Beck, you can get pressure on him with just the front four, and you can force him to throw the football uh, into man-to-man coverage. Now, he's been able to beat it so far this year. But the interesting thing I think is going to be the matchups with our defensive backs with well, hopefully Devin Moore plays, but Bryce Thornton, Devin Moore is one of the higher rated defensive backs in the SEC in PFF right now, so I'm really hoping he can play. Cormani McClain is also high up there right now. Jordan Castell is high up there. Our two linebackers, Miles Graham and Dejon Robinson, are two of the higher rated linebackers actually in coverage, believe it or not, which is crazy to think about. And George Gums is a near 80 on defensive edge pass rush. The issue that we're having right now is Tyreek Sapp is being double teamed and triple teamed. And without Caleb Banks, a true D tackle that you also have to focus on, Florida's pass rush with the front four is not as lethal as it was the last 4 or 5 games of the season last year. Remember, we also had Jack Pyburn, who is now playing at LSU. So if Caleb Banks, he looks like he's hurt again, I don't know. But if he can come back and play, force Miami to actually, have to pay attention to him and go one-on-one with Tyreek Sapp and George Gums, that helps. But time of possession with our offense and getting significant pressure with that front four, that's the key to the game in this one. I just don't think we'll talk about offense, but I just don't think we have if we do anything other than that, it plays into Miami's hands for them to win this game.
Oh yeah, if we don't get pressure on Carson Beck like you were saying, and really do a good job like you said in the center between the tackles on that D line, then yeah, this game's there's no way that we're going to be able to win this. That's truly our only hope. So yeah, like I said, we have to please blitz, please get pressure on Carson Beck. If not, the game's over. And so
the game's over. Yeah,
we're gonna learn pretty quick, EJ. I will say this: I don't think we do a really good job scheming throughout the game on either side of the ball. And I feel like we play a really, hey, this is how we're going to play it, kind of defensive scheme. And so I just truly hope that we come out a little bit more aggressive in this game because the stats are showing that. But we can transition over to the offense if you want, EJ, for this 40 Gator team. Defensively, man, LSU's got Miami has got a lot of really good guys there. Reuben Bain Jr. Alone is having a really, really solid time on the defensive line. The defensive line in general, Mesidor as well has 2 sacks and 13 total tackles. So this is a group that you can't really mess with. The DB room has gotten a little bit better as well. Are they the best DB room, best secondary in the country? No, but it is a massive step up from what they were last year. They do have a couple of guys out there that are good lockdowns. And the Gators have obviously been struggling in the passing game already, so there's no really help there. There's not really a big hole in the defense. EJ, what's your overall look on this 40 Gator offense versus this defense?
Well, Mario Cristobal's what he's good at is the lines of scrimmage, right? He's going to try to get a really good D line, a really good offensive line, and he in this new age where he could just go buy a quarterback every year, they're going to be a good team, and he's a good coach. The reality of the situation is when you look at this defense, um, our best chance in this game is very similar to the Notre Dame game. The issue though is DJ Lagway is not a mobile quarterback. And I think to really have Miami be an honest offense, you have to have a power run game with a quarterback that can also contribute to that run game, with a quarterback that can also throw deep. The crazy thing is we perceivingly have that. It's just what is going to be the game plan for that is in Napier's head, because we all know what we should do as Gator fans, or think we know what we should do. Billy Napier's not going to do that. I do think that Lagway will probably have a much shorter leash in this game. I don't think Napier is going to allow him to go out there and just throw direct passes directly to the defense and then think that he can go back out there. So I do think Tramel Jones will probably get a little bit of he'll have Lagway will have a shorter leash. But I think I like the matchup with our offensive line against their defensive line, believe it or not. I think pound for pound, it's not like they're just going to snap the ball and they're just going to just pummel us. I think we can have some resistance. The challenge becomes if the score gets out of hand and they know we're going to throw it, that's when they pin their ears back and can come after us, and that's really where it gets challenging. As long as the game is close, we can have balance in our attack. I think we have a chance. My key to this game, here's the key. 20 passes max in this game. We threw 49 in the game against LSU. There should not be a single reason on planet Earth where DJ Lagway, at this current state that he's in, is throwing the ball more than 20 times in this game. Unless they're all screens, like Graham Mertz. Notre Dame threw it 30 times against Miami. Hell, Miami only throws it 30 times. Like, why the hell are we throwing 49 times? 20 passes max, 20 rushes for Baugh, and maybe they'll give it to Jackson for 15. But we also ran like another number 20 in this game against LSU. Like it was neither Baugh or Jackson. I was like, what the hell are we doing out here?
Yeah.
It's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. 20 passes max, run the football, don't turn it over, don't even give DJ the opportunity to throw into these coverages. And then once you set them up, see if you can hit it deep, and see what you can do. But that's my game plan. And the hope is keep the game close enough so that it comes down to Carson Beck having to make a play. That's the game. If you have the pressure on Carson Beck, like you have to make this play, that's when he's tested. When you look at the game and the defense is stopping the other team and there's no pressure on Beck to actually make decisions, make the right ones, he can flourish. But if he's in clutch situations a majority of the game, that's when we can, and he's pressing it, that's when we can find success. But other than that, we have a much smaller margin of error.
No, I agree. What scares me, though, EJ, if you go back to that Notre Dame game, Jeremiah Love was not able to run the ball on this Notre Dame team or on the Miami defense. Even Jadarian Price, the backup, which is another really good running back, he had 45 yards, 7.5 yards a carry. Yeah, but he had a 30-yard, big explosive play. So you take that away, he doesn't have a lot per carry either. And so I'm just, I don't think many guys can stop Jaden Ball. I'm not going to say Jaden Ball is going to be stonewalled, but this Miami defense has done a pretty good job on stopping that run, right? And so if they did that with Jeremiah Love, I'm really worried to see, because that's kind of all this Gator offense has. So I agree. I think we need to find success with the run, and DJ Lagway needs to, like you said, take some deep shots. My personal offensive key is win the turnover battle. That's it. Just don't even if DJ Lagway makes one mistake, which I don't think he can make any mistakes in this game. I don't think he can, because of the low margin of error offense that he's in and stuff. I don't think he can throw any interceptions. But if he does throw one, the defense needs to come back and get one right back. So I think the big key for the Gators in this game also is to win the turnover battle. So the offense cannot fumble the ball. They can't throw interceptions. They have to be as efficient and as disciplined as possible. So as you can see, a lot right has to go with this. It has to go right in this game for us to have any chance to win this. But I do think that there is a world where it can happen, but the run game has to be a thing. And that Notre Dame game just kind of scares me on that front.
Yeah. Now, you're Miami's defense is really, really good. But I would say the goal for Florida would be 130 yards rushing with 0 turnovers. If we can hit 130 yards rushing, 0 turnovers, I really like the chances of us to maintain time of possession. There you go. Now, let's see what happens in this game. I'm sure Billy Napier has some sort of a semblance of a strategy, but you would think that we would want to come out and show some fight in this one, given how Miami embarrassed us last year on our home field. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. All right, EJ. Oh, another big thing too. Tony's a dangerous returner. That's also kind of scary.
Oh, yeah.
And
kick it out of bounds.
Kick it out of bounds. And there was also one point in the LSU game where their returner almost got out of our boys. Remember that? And he almost returned it all the way back. So we really got to be careful here. EJ, do you want to make the score prediction here for the Miami game?
So here you go with me saying that we should be 10-2. You telling me, oh yeah, great prediction, Ellington, 10-2. Here's the deal: we should be freaking 10-2. Okay, if we had a coach that knew how to freaking prepare a team. Here's the deal: from a talent standpoint, I'd be honest with y'all and say, yeah, Miami's just way more talented. They're way better. They're not. We have similar talent profiles across the board. If Mario Cristobal was the coach of Florida and put Billy Napier or to coach the Miami team, it'd be the same shit. They'd be lining up with 12 players, holding on every touchdown, whatever the case may be. Because of the coaching, because of Mario Cristobal's system is translating on Saturdays. And it just looks like Billy Napier has dug himself a big hole. I think Florida puts up a fight. You're going to see in this game, Florida's actually not, Miami can't actually separate. But I think they're just too solid. They're too focused. They're playing too well together. We're not anywhere near that right now. So I'm going to go Miami in this game. I'm going to say 34-19. I think we're going to kick field goals left and right. And we're just going to we're going to score one touchdown and have like 5 field goals or whatever the ratio is to get 19. And it's going to look, it's 16-10. Florida's winning. And then bing, bang, boom, two touchdowns later, it's like there's no way we're coming back. Put another ice cream touchdown on the top, cherry on top. They beat us 34-19. Miami wins.
Wow, great, dude. I'm at 31-16. Not far at off from you. We've been pretty similar on our score predictions this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that too. I had like 31-17, but I was like, we're just gonna hit field goals the entire time. Like, you know what I mean? We're gonna get it. We're gonna get in their territory and not be able to move the ball, and that's what happened with USF last week as well. Miami does a really good job with stopping you inside their territory and forcing you to hit three, and that's a sign of a really good defense that bends but doesn't breaks. But that doesn't break. And so, yeah, I'm going 31-16. I think it's going to be a one-score game for a while, like you were talking about. Then maybe there's like maybe a punt return or like a late explosive play from this Miami offense that just kind of eats Florida up. Then we start throwing interceptions, then we kind of fall apart. So I agree. I think it's going to happen in the fourth, but I think it's going to be a good fought game. I think the Gators, Billy Napier, it's one thing I was telling Sven earlier. I was like, we're not going to lose 38. I don't think so. And if we do, it's going to be a last-second couple touchdowns by Miami. I think Billy Napier, one thing we can say about him is he keeps his team together. He doesn't lose the locker room. And I think these guys are going to be really, really tough in this game. I think they're going to play their hearts out, but I think they eventually aren't just going to be able to get it done. I think they're going to fall apart there. But yeah, I mean, I think Florida is going to put up a good fight in this game, EJ. I don't see it really any other way. Because, man, starting, what would that be? 1-2, 1-3.
We'd be 1-3.
1-3.
And with a bye week, going to play Texas and Texas A&M.
Golly, bro, that's insane.
In many respects, though, this is sort of like a must win for Billy.
Yeah.
Like, I know every game's a must win, but if you can somehow win this game, it seems like it's like telling us we got to get to Paris and you're just giving us a pair of tennis shoes at this point to get there. And like, there's no way we're getting there. But if it happens, let's say Carson Beck has the work. Like, who predicted Lagway to throw 5 picks? So maybe Carson Beck has a game where he's not he throws 2-3 interceptions, and that's all it takes for us to like be in scoring position. But with the penalties and I just don't. And Miami's just a much better coach team. It's not gonna matter. And I think they are legitimately a top 5 team. LSU, I question if they're a top 5 team right now. Like, LSU goes to Texas A&M. Like, who am I picking? I'm picking Texas A&M to win that game. So LSU's not really LSU's probably a top 10 team, but to barely win when the other team gave you 5 turnovers
against anyone.
Yeah, if anyone turns it over against you -5, you should beat that team by 20 points, bare minimum. So you do that to Miami, they will beat you by 20 points, bare minimum. And I think that, so this game is going to be a 15-point game for Miami, even with Florida not turning it over. I think it's just because stylistically, philosophically, preparation, Mario Cristobal's a better coach, and Carson Beck is a much better quarterback right now with much more confidence playing in this offense. And the Miami defense, it's almost like, what are we presenting with our offense that gives Miami's defense pause?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like Brian Kelly yesterday got pissed off at the press that are asking him questions, and he got mad for one reason. He was frustrated that his team was not capable of winning the game by more than what they did. And that struck a chord, that like struck a wrong note with him. And that's what the press corps was getting at. They're like, Florida turned over 5 times and you still can't run the ball against Florida and you can't do this. And he's like, we won the game. I'm like, yeah, dude, but your team should have won this game by like, if that was Miami, they would have won 56-10.
Yep.
Okay. And you guys barely won. So I think at the end of the day, can we keep from turning it over, give ourselves a chance to win the game? And I think if we do that, we can keep it within 2 scores. But like you said, I just think they're just gonna they're legit. Miami's legit. Let's just give them crown them. Okay, crown them, Logan.
Dude, if I have to drive like 4 or 5 hours from Miami after a loss, bro, I'm gonna be so pissed. The drive there is gonna be fun because there's gonna be that little bit of hope, that little bit of optimism. But I hope it's not just ripped from me. We'll see. So there you go. You were 34-19.
34-19.
And I'm gonna be 31-16. Let's see if the Gators can get it done, man. I don't know. I'm not feeling too confident. I mean, dude, you're right. There's a chance that we start out 1-5. That's crazy. Billy Napier's not going to be here if he loses the next 2 games. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. So, yeah, that's unreal. All right, well, let's get off of that. Let's go talk about the games for Week 4. We're already in Week 4 of college football, EJ. Wild stuff, man.
Wow.
Absolutely
We love
insane.
it. Week 4. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. We're starting off with a pretty interesting game. Speaking of Dan Mullen, UNLV favored 2.5 go to Miami, Ohio. They're for their Miami, Ohio's first home game, by the way. Miami, Ohio doesn't have an offense, so I'm going to pick UNLV in this game to be 4-0.
Yeah. Hey, guys, can we beat Miami? Yeah, if it was Miami, Ohio.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah, UNLV, just too balanced. Dan Mullen, why did we fire him? Can he please come back? Who knows? UNLV wins just too much. It's only a 2.5-point game, according, you sent me that's kind of crazy, but Vegas, they win it.
Yeah, FanDuel's interesting there. Next one, we have Bill Belichick travels down here to Orlando, Florida, baby.
Oh,
UCF is favored by 6.5. Scott Frost, UCF. I almost want to, I'm going to the Gator game, obviously, but, this would have been a fun game just to, pull up to. Just to see Bill Belichick in person would be pretty dope, you know what I mean, in the bounce house. North Carolina had an interesting game against Richmond, you know what I mean? I think their quarterback looked a little bit better in that game. UCF struggled against Jackson State, but had a nice win last week. I think North Carolina's going to go in and win this game. I think, they had a pretty bad week 1 against TCU, but TCU is turning out to be a pretty good team. And I think North Carolina is going to start to figure something out against this UCF team.
Oh, wow. Okay. You're going
North Carolina. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, not so fast. Friendly Corso in beautiful downtown Orlando. UCF. Scott Frost getting frosty with it. Knights. They win it. And give me the Knights to cover 7 points.
Good pick. Okay, I respect it. Next one, we have Tulane at Ole Miss. I just want to throw this one in here because there's a chance that it could be an upset, especially how Ole Miss has been playing. Austin Simmons kind of been very inconsistent this year. Young guy trying to figure it out. Graduated college at 19. Shit's insane. But Ole Miss favored by 12.5. I'm picking Ole Miss, but I think this can be a very good game, a sleeper game for this weekend in Week 4.
I appreciate that. Too lame. That's what we call him. Too lame. Let me tell you. Is Austin Simmons playing in this game? It doesn't matter. Ole Miss wins. They're playing at home. But I think Tulane, I think they can keep it close. Give me Tulane to cover.
I agree. Coming off a good
win. Ole Miss 41-31.
I like that. That's actually really good
cover. Tulane cover.
Really good. Next one we have SMU at TCU. TCU favored by 6.5. Looking really good this year. SMU coming off of a really weird game against Missouri State. They barely won that game, bro, and Missouri State threw 3 interceptions. If they didn't throw those interceptions, they probably win this game, which is kind of crazy. Could be a bounce-back game, but TCU's really shocked me this season. I think they have one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football, and they have a good little team there, so I'm picking TCU.
Let me tell you something.
Hold that shirt up. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for the shirt. Let me tell you something. I'm kind of like, TCU should win this game. So I'm picking TCU to win. Backdoor cover for SMU. Keep it close.
I like that.
But TCU, that quarterback that they have, that guy is How the hell does everyone have a better quarterback than us? What is happening? TCU. They
Good
win
pick.
it. SMU cover.
Good pick. Next one we have Arizona State at Baylor. Baylor only favored by 2.5. Weird line. I don't like that line. If this was at Arizona State, I might pick Arizona State to get the upset. It's in Waco. Like Josh Pate says, weird stuff happens in Waco. I think that Baylor's going to go, in their home stadium, not go anywhere. They're going to stay in their home stadium. They're going to get a win against Arizona State. Arizona State, major step back from last year. I kind of called that. I was telling everyone, I was like, I think now that everyone knows that they're dangerous, everyone's going to actually prep for them, and that's what's happening this season.
Oh, this is actually a really good. Is this a Big 12 game? All Big 12?
Yep.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I like Arizona State. I like this team. You screwed me over against Mississippi State because I picked you. And I knew it was going to be close, but you couldn't stop him at the last second. I don't think Baylor's offense is as dynamic as Mississippi State.
Really?
As crazy as that is, I think Mississippi's Levy's great. But let me tell you something. Give me Baylor at home. Arizona State just you went to Mississippi State, you got spooked by the cowbells, you couldn't hear your plays, you got beat. It's not gonna be that loud against Baylor, but it's wacky in Waco. Bears win it.
Do you think that's a close game?
2.5 is actually a really good.
Yeah.
That is a really see Vegas. Who is working in Vegas? Okay, because they know exactly how to put these lines. I think it's back and forth. Baylor defensive stop late, win it by field goal.
I like it. Next one we have Texas Tech at Utah. Utah favored by 3. This is going to be a really good game. Texas Tech, obviously one of the most talented teams in the Big 12. Had one of the best transfer portal, I believe it's the first or second best transfer portal class in the country coming into this year. They are a really solid team, very underrated. But Utah, really good team as well. Shocked a lot of people, but I told people that they're going to be solid. These are my this is actually my Big 12 championship right here that we did.
Oh yeah. Wait, is this mine too or no?
I think I believe it's yours. I have it somewhere. I believe this is yours too, EJ. Yeah, Texas Tech and Utah, man. I think Utah. I have Texas Tech beating Utah in the Big 12 championship, but I think Utah's going to get it done here. They're coming off of a weird performance against Wyoming. It's at home. One of the best stadiums in college football, I think, is just a really cool-looking stadium with the mountains and shit in the back. It looks dope. I think that Utah's going to get the win here. I think it's going to be a very close game. Once again, a really good line at 3, but I think Utah will get the win.
Beautiful pick. Texas Tech's got the talent. They got the oil money, rolling out the red carpet for these guys. But nothing beats a good old-fashioned, hardcore physicality coaching style. Kyle Whittingham at home, getting physical with it. Give me the Utes.
Good pick. Look at us in line today. Look at us. This is nice. We're either both going to do really well or get screwed. Next one we have Michigan at Nebraska. Michigan favored by 2.5. This is an interesting game, man. Look, here's this is probably the biggest toss-up game for me. Because I think if Dylan Raiola has no interceptions in this game, I think Nebraska wins. If he throws interceptions in this game, I think Michigan will win. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but Dylan Raiola, I feel like, is such a sporadic quarterback at times. He's played good this year. They beat a good Cincinnati team. Like, we didn't know at the time, but Cincinnati's actually not a bad team this year. I'm picking Nebraska to win and to beat Michigan, but I do not like that pick. I think I can totally see Dylan Raiola throwing 2 picks in this game against that Michigan front and against that secondary screwing up and losing. That's probably going to happen, but I needed to take a risk here and go against the spread.
Whoa. All right, so everybody. Nebraska. You squeaked by Cincinnati. and then you hammered these last two teams. I don't even know who the hell is it. Who the hell is that? You killed them. Michigan. You went to Oklahoma. You got beat. You're paying Bryce Underwood enough to do something. And oh, by the way, your coach is back from suspension this game. Wolverines get it done. And I don't know if anyone remembers this, but if I was, let's say you put me in the time, you know how they do they freeze people and then you come back to life like 20 years later. Well, if they would have did that to me in 1996 and I woke up in 2025 and I'm watching Michigan versus Nebraska, I'm like, nothing's changed because these are the top two teams. We had two national champions in 97. They gave it to Michigan and Nebraska. Give me Michigan to win this game on the road. Defense steps it up.
That's probably going to happen, honestly. Next one we have Auburn at Oklahoma. Oklahoma favored by 4.5. I'm taking Oklahoma in this game. I like this Auburn team a lot. But I think Oklahoma, man, they're riding that wave right now. John Mateer's out there throwing bombs, man. I think it's going to catch up to Auburn. If this was at Auburn, I would probably pick Auburn to win this upset, especially since that'd be 2 road games in a row for Oklahoma, considering they went to Troy or something insane last week. It was like, oh, no, it was it Troy? Or was it, it might have been someone else. Oh, no, Temple. They went to Temple. So weird.
That was crazy.
Yeah, really weird road game. Imagine we played, like, at FAU or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, Oklahoma, I think because they're coming back home, they're feeling good about a good road win, good road win that could have easily been a really tight game. I like this Oklahoma team. I'm taking them to win and cover.
Yeah, give me OU, give me the Sooners. In this one, Auburn. It wouldn't be surprising to me if Auburn kept this one close. I think Auburn will keep it close. But I just think Oklahoma at home, Mateer's playing really well. Venables has it together. Everyone has it together except for Billy Napier. Sooners, they take it.
It's a good pick. Good pick. All right, so we're the same except on 2, and that's going to be the Michigan-Nebraska game and then the North Carolina and UCF game. So those ones to look out for, baby. I need you to mess up both of those so I can bounce back. We'll see. We'll see what happens, baby.
I don't think so. I don't think so,
sir.
Man.
All right. Well, EJ, I think that's going to be it for the live today. Anything you want to say to everyone out there before we wrap it up?
I had an interesting, I just wanted to say this as we close. I had an interesting, heard some interesting comments about the future of Gator football. And, people are just saying, you know what? Why do we support the team when this is the result that we're going to get? We keep showing up to the games. We keep, doing our podcast, spending money. People are going to Miami. The product on the field does not match the pride. And if it's not one thing, it's another with this team, meaning if it's not penalties, it's the coach has no game plan. If the coach has a game plan and we don't have penalties, the quarterback all of a sudden forgets how to throw and he throws it straight to the defense. If it's not the defense or quarterback not throwing to the defense, then the defense forgets how to tackle. It's like something you can never put it together. And that just goes back to our prediction that Billy Napier is somehow going to be not on the team. And then we're going to have to do the whole conspiratorial, who are we going to hire? Who's the coach that's going to be? And the bottom line is, why did UCLA and Virginia Tech?
Yep.
Why did they fire their coach 2-3 games in the season? The way that college football is set up now, you're recruiting now. You are transfer portaling now, even though they're not telling you. People are, hey, you're not playing, you're injured, you want to hit the transfer portal early. You know, these agents are out there talking to people. You don't have time to wait till the end of the year. And because, oh, by the way, by the end of the year, the coaches that you want to hire, what are they doing? They're in the playoffs. So they're like, okay, I don't have time to talk to you, Florida, unless you're trying to pay me $100 million. So coaches, you have no time to get the coaches. Players are getting recruited off your team. You have to get rid of the coach now. So I've struggled with it. Should we just continue to lose all these games and that will incentivize them to get rid of Napier? He's 21 and he's 20 and 21 with 3 road wins against Power 5 teams. Steve Spurrier lost fewer home games in his time at Florida than the number of interceptions that Lagway threw in the game against LSU. Let that sink in, people. And we're sitting here at the bottom of the barrel with Vanderbilt going on the road, winning by 4 touchdowns. The quarterback got hurt. Oh, well, you're playing the number 11 team and you won by 4 touchdowns. We're playing whoever we're playing. Everybody's a top 10 team on our schedule. And we just look lost. Like LSU literally just sat there and just said, hey, we're not going to do anything special. Let's just wait for Florida to screw up and we'll beat them. And that's exactly what happened. And so it's just like, we're going to have to move on. I think, guys, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's going to have to happen relatively quickly if we're serious about hiring a new coach, getting them the resources they need. I think we need to get an interim coach. It's, whether it's after the Miami game or whatever, get an interim coach. If DJ Lagway leaves, it's going to have to just be the cost of doing business. Because at the end of the day, he wants to be a Gator. But if you go out there and you throw 5 interceptions directly to the defense, that's not winning football, guys. And with the transfer portal, we can turn around and get somebody. We can get a Joey Aguilar or whoever the hell and have them come in and do much better than that. So keep the faith. I know that everyone wants us to win. I want us to win. We all want us to win. But, we'll see what happens.
And this Saturday is going to be a very big decision on when he goes. I think that's going to play a very big factor. So everyone be ready for that. But there you guys go, man. We'll see you guys next Sunday when we recap the Miami game and prep for what is it? Is it a bye week?
It's a bye week.
It's a bye week.
Our wounds.
Beautiful. All right, so we'll see what happens there, man. That might be the week that Billy goes, depending on how this Miami game goes. It's going to be very interesting. I'll be down in Miami Gardens, baby. Can't wait. Going to be a great time. Go Gators. Let's turn it around.
Let's turn it around. Let's go. Let's get it.
Play fake on first down. Lagway launching downfield, has a man. Touchdown.
Blitz coming off the edge.